Yeah, so plan for today. I've got a little bit of an article from Washington Post. I don't usually read them, but they did this really interesting visualization of what happens when you get shot with an AR-15. So, figure we'll read a little bit of that. I don't want to go through all of it because it does simulations of like actual like literal children that got shot, so I'll link it to you, but I don't necessarily want to like show that part. I just want to show the difference between like an AR-15 and just like a regular handgun or something. So we've got that. Then there's a little TYT piece on it. No, it's the damage report. Oh, so I can't show this, but they included footage from school shootings or mass shootings. The scenes of chaos and terror are all too familiar in America. The AR-15 bullets, the AR-15 fires bullets at such a high velocity, often in a barrage of 30 or even 100 in rapid succession, that it can eviscerate multiple people in seconds. A single bullet lands on a shockwave intense enough to blow apart a skull and demolish vital organs. The impact is even more acute on the compact body of a small child. It can literally pulverize bones, it can shatter your liver, and it can provide this blast effect, said Joseph Sakrin, a gunshot survivor who advocates for gun violence prevention and a trauma surgeon at Johns Hopkins Hospital. This is so fucking scary, dude. It's so horrific. During a surgery on people shot with high-velocity rounds, he said, body tissue literally just crumbled into your hands. Jesus Christ, dude. Just crumbled into your hands. The carnage is rarely visible to the public. Crime scene photos are considered too gruesome to publish and often kept confidential. News accounts rely on antiseptic descriptions from law enforcement officials and medical examiners who, in some cases, have said remains were so unrecognizable that they could only be identified through DNA samples. I had heard, like, identifying kids through their clothes and shit, but, like, only through DNA? That's fucked up. It's really fucked up. As Sakrin put it, we often sanitize what is happening. The Washington Post sought to illustrate the force of the AR-15 and its catastrophic effects. The first part of this report is a 3D animation that shows the trajectory of two different hypothetical gunshots to the chest. One from an AR-15 and another from a typical handgun, to explain the greater severity of the damage caused by the AR-15. The second part depicts the entrance and exit wounds of two actual victims, Noah Posner, 6, and Peter Wang, 15, killed in school shootings when they were struck by multiple bullets. This account is based on a review of nearly 100 autopsy reports from several AR-15 shootings, as well as court testimony and interviews with trauma surgeons, ballistic experts, and a medical examiner. The records and interviews show in stark detail the unique mechanics that propel these bullets and why they unleash such devastation in the body. This is a .223 caliber sized round inside an AR-15. What makes this weapon so deadly is the speed of the bullet. It is small and light. Its cartridge holds enough propellant to send the bullet flying out of the barrel at a speed that would cross 6 football fields in a second. 6 football fields in 1 second. can't even understand, like, how fast that is, dude. This is a 9mm sized round, a common choice in handguns. Its bullets are larger inside smaller cartridges. They don't hold enough gunpowder to match the velocity of a 223. Okay, so this is like how much more propellant is in the ammunition for an AR-15. So you can see why it's so much faster. And has more, like, explosive power. Any bullet can kill, and instantly, when it hits with a vital organ. The higher speed of a bullet from an AR-15 causes far more damage after it hits the body and drastically reduces a person's chances of survival. As that bullet slows down, said trauma surgeon Babak Sarani, an authority on casualties from mass killings, that energy is so massive that it has to go someplace, and your body will literally tear apart. So, wait, is this the AR-15 bullet? Yeah. So this is like an animation of what happens, like, to say your lung if you get hit with a 223 bullet. In this hypothetical scenario, the bullet bursts into the chest cavity, it shreds the lung tissue, severs nerves and vessels, and causes massive bleeding. It also begins to tumble, taking a chaotic path into the body. The speed at impact creates a blast effect, like the wake that follows a boat, causing internal injuries far outside the bullet's path. Here, the blast destroys a large vein that carry blood back to the heart. Like, there's nothing a fucking doctor can do for you. Like, they can't fix that. It may have impacted your heart, like, your lung is totally destroyed, like... So this is the 9mm. It's just like a straight path through. A 9mm bullet from the same distance takes a relatively linear path. Because that bullet doesn't produce the same blast effect, it's far less damage. It causes far less damage. Like, they can, like, potentially save you from this, but not from the AR-15 blast, like. I am curious what distance this is supposed to be. I don't think they said. I guess the simulation is, like, pretty close. Like 10 to 15 feet or something? I don't know. The bullet from the AR-15 leaves behind a gaping exit wound. The 9mm bullet fired from the handgun has a much smaller exit wound. In this scenario, with immediate medical care and minimal bleeding, the victim has a chance of surviving the 9mm shot to the chest. The bullet from the AR-15, however, causes torrential bleeding that is quickly lethal. Like, yeah, you bleed out from that so fast. Two children, many bullets. When multiple bullets from an AR-15 strike the body, they cause a cascade of catastrophic damage. This is the trauma witnessed by first responders, but rarely, if ever, seen by the public or policymakers who write gun laws. The Post determined that there is a public interest in demonstrating the uniquely destructive power of the AR-15 when used to kill. What follows is a detailed depiction showing the impact of bullets fired from an AR-15 at 2 young victims. It is based on autopsy records from Noah Posner and Peter Wang from that the Post obtained through public records. Due to the unusual visual nature of the representation, the Post took the added step of seeking and receiving the consent of the victims' families before proceeding with its account. The Post offered the families the opportunity to view the depictions in advance of the publication, which they declined to do. The families also declined to be interviewed for the story, but a spokesperson for the Wang family offered a statement explaining why Peter's parents, Hui and Kong Wang, provided their consent to the Post. Peter's parents want people to know the truth, said Lin Chen, their niece and Peter's cousin. They want people to know about Peter. They want people to remember him. This presentation may be disturbing to some people. It should be disturbing to everyone. This is, like, really tough. I, read this already. It's very hard. It was Sandy Hook and, I forget. I'm sorry. Very rough stuff. I liked at the end, they have a little counter. You've been on this page for more than 11 minutes. It took 11 minutes for the shooter to kill 60 people and injure 869 others at the Las Vegas concert. Which is pretty fucked up. And it changes for how long you've been reading. It's difficult, but important.
Carved through the body of, first in orange, a round fired by an AR-15, and then the second case, that's a 9mm round. And showing that they're not just different. The AR-15 doesn't just shoot faster or generally maybe have access to more information with whatever clip you might put into it. It's not just that. It literally has a
He said more information. I think he meant more ammunition.
Far more devastating effect on the body. There is so much energy imparted to the round by the significantly larger amount of propellant that each one of the rounds has, that it hits the body and just effectively explodes a path through the body. Which means that in those 2 wounds that you saw, one might be survivable. The 9mm wound could potentially be survivable. But in many cases, there's nothing left to repair after an AR-15 bullet hits your chest.
Yeah, the description of that surgeon saying that it crumbles in their hands, that's truly fucking horrific.
It's destroyed your heart, or it's destroyed all the arteries going to it. If it hits you in the head, and they do simulations of that as well, there's effectively nothing to repair at that point. And so it isn't just that they're accurate, lots of ammunition, all of that, which makes it very efficient for killing as many humans as possible. But you don't have to make multiple hits to kill someone necessarily. A single shot, particularly for a young person, is more than enough. So this is yet another example of why some weapons uniquely deserve bans that haven't in America gotten them, at least recently. Anyway, there's a lot there, and everyone should definitely check out the Washington Post's recent coverage on this. They have a lot of really, in some cases, hard to deal with. They show particular kids and they show the particular injuries that they've had in different shootings and talk about the effect that it had on the body to make this as real as possible. But
yeah, to be clear, the simulations are not they just show the relative size of the kids, their injuries, but it's not you don't see a picture of their face. It's not like AI.
Benny, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, it's just really heartbreaking. It's just really infuriating because it's just fundamentally unnecessary. It's not something that anybody needs. Could we stop pretending that it's gonna be for home defense? Can we just please, for love of God, just stop pretending that AR-15, I really need this for home defense. No, you don't, right? You're not John Rambo. Nobody's out to get you, right? You're not gonna save the world or anything like that. You're just
if you need it for home defense, then you could use a shotgun. I'm sorry, you could.
Just a random person. Please stop, right? Because it's just Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I just don't really know what to say because like it is just so horrific. Even just the suggestion of the level of injuries, especially when you're talking about like innocent children, right? And the fact that it happens so regularly in the United States of America and really nowhere else, right? Like, and the simple fact that we have people that are so evil that they're unwilling to do anything about it. And the simple fact that our system is so undemocratic that even though the overwhelming majority of people want to do something about it, we can't because of just like a small handful of like incredibly evil people who just have a ridiculous amount of money. It's so unbelievable.
And to your use of the word evil there, again, like it always, for me, one of the things that makes following this like emotionally difficult is the juxtaposition of multiple things that are going on in the country at the same time. So for instance, when you have been told for years that the left is censorious and they do a cancel culture, and then meanwhile the Republicans ban thousands of books around the country, that makes each of those things worse. In this case, to have an entire party and tens of millions of their followers literally not care about children being blown to pieces. And then for that group to say that you all are satanic because of 4chan post, I don't know, something Huggies, something Wayfair. We're satanic. They literally don't care about kids being gunned down every week. But
I mean, in this instance, they're practically gleeful. In this instance, they're practically gleeful. When they found out that the shooter was trans, they were like acting like they just won the lottery. They're acting like it was Christmas morning.
It's the best thing.
Children were dead.
It's the best thing that's happened to them in months. Tucker Carlson could not be more excited about that. Marjorie Greene could not be more excited about that. That is the truth. We have to accept that. There are sick people. There are evil people. And there is something about our culture that the sicker you are, the more dishonest and deceptive you are, the more corrupt you are, the more likely you are to be raised to the top of politics and media and to have influence over the thoughts of far more people. Anyway, like I said, go to the Washington Post. You can see some of these breakdowns.
Just some mysterious thing about the world. It's capitalism, baby. It rewards like the most profitable behavior, not the most moral. Like that's why, yeah. Also the NRA, but that's another conversation probably.
You can still defend your house. People get shotguns for home defense. You can still hunt. My father hunted with a bow. Like there are any numbers of rifles. You can buy a handgun. There are all these sorts of things.
Hunting with a bow is way hotter too, personally. I'm just gonna say it. Fuck it, I'm saying it. Okay.
Making it so virtually anyone can get a uniquely deadly weapon on short notice for basically no money, probably on credit. It's not a good idea. This is not a good idea, clearly demonstrated every single day.